SCP-140. Object Class: Kida. SCP-140 is a modern hard-copy book with an unremarkable black binding and an unknown number of white pages. The book jacket is missing, but the title, A Chronicle of the Devas, is clearly legible. The inside cover is signed by the author, whose name is indecipherable. The text is copyrighted 19. Careful examinations reveal there are far more pages between the bindings than could be contained within them. Readers admit feelings of paranoia, unease, and occasional nausea while reading SCP-140. Although this may be related to the subject material, nonetheless, readers almost universally describe SCP-140 as fascinating and express continued interest, despite its frequently unsettling content. 1 in 15 readers describe SCP-140 as having a faint odor of dried blood. SCP-140 is a detailed account of an ancient civilization originating in what is now south-central Siberia, identified as the Davites. Although like all cultures, the Davites evolved and changed over time, they appear to have exhibited unusual continuity. Universal fixtures of the Davite culture in all periods include militarism, conquest, ancestor worship, urban centers ruling over large slave populations, gruesome human sacrifice, and the practice of apparently efficacious thaumaturgic rituals. A variety of relics and creatures produced by the Davite culture would be abnormal or dangerous enough, if the account is to be believed, to qualify for containment in their own right. If SCP-140 comes into contact with any fluid suitable of writing, including human blood, the account of the Davite civilization history expands. Human blood appears to be most potent of possible writing substances, but in any case, the amount of new material does not correspond proportionately to the fluids introduced. Although these new segments sometimes include new descriptions of rituals or cultural traits, or illustrations of previously covered material, they more frequently include new, more recent accounts of information chronicling the continued history of the Davite civilization or descriptions of new individuals and artifacts. Formerly decisive defeats become setbacks. New persons and events are inserted. Foundation archaeologists have discovered corresponding new artifacts and traces of the Davite civilization in applicable locations and strata, in some cases found in dig sites that had already been thoroughly explored. Although at times the Davites were a collection of city-states, they appear to have consistently returned to imperialism under a theocratic aristocracy, the Deva, practitioners of cannibalism and thaumaturgy. Although initially Foundation researchers believe the Deva to have been a hereditary class recycling the names of noteworthy individuals, the Deva possess preternatural longevity as a result of. Several researchers, notably Professor, have concluded that Deva were so divergent from modern humans as to be a separate subspecies, a conclusion supported by graphic representations within SCP-140. SCP-140 is remarkably detailed by the standards of a primary source, seeming closer to a biography than a historic text. It includes lurid descriptions of sacrificial rites, battlefield descriptions, daily life, and life stories of various noteworthy individuals, including quotes and dates of birth. Over distinct individuals have been identified, including the individual presently termed SCP-140-A, of which only are accounted for by record deaths. Foundation archaeologists have discovered several sites containing ruins consistent with the supposed Davite culture in various locations across Siberia, northern Iran, and Mongolia. Artifacts and traces of intercultural conflict and contact have been discovered as far west as the Carpathian Mountains and as far east as northern Pakistan and China. Special containment procedures. SCP-140 must never be brought closer than 15 meters to any source of standard ink, human blood, or other fluids suitable for writing. Any contamination by blood or ink must be reported immediately. Any remaining copies of SCP-140 created during the initial printing must be found and destroyed as soon as possible. Only SCP-140 is to be preserved for purposes of study, early warning, and cataloging and recording possible SCPs derived from its subject matter. SCP-140 is contained at Site-76 in a sealed vault containing a single desk. At this time, no research is to be carried out upon the original SCP-140. Researchers are to read from the prepared copies, not bearing the signature of its author, which lack its properties. In the event of approved research, SCP-140 may not be removed from the vault, and readers may not be in contact with it for longer than 9 hours. Access requires written approval from head researcher for the explicit purposes of testing. An armed guard stationed outside the vault will meet any attempt at theft with deadly force. Should any personnel begin displaying obsession with SCP-140 or signs of possible mimetic contamination, are to be issued a Class A amnesiac, false memories implanted as necessary, and transferred to another project. Transferred personnel must be monitored for any signs of relapse. Well guys, that was SCP-140, a Keter class SCP that is a book that, when in contact with any sort of writing source, even human blood, tends to write and add on to the history of this, well, culture. However, if these accounts would be true, then this book technically can create new things and new SCPs or existences, which, depending on what it writes, could probably cause us quite some harm, or well, quite a lot of problems. But nonetheless, it's pretty interesting actually. Like, if this SCP was produced as an actual book, I would be interested in researching it. But nonetheless, let me know what you thought of it in the comments below. If you liked it, leave a like. If you dislike it, dislike it. Subscribe to support this channel, and if you do, hit the bell to get notified. I upload every Sunday and occasion throughout the week. You can also join my Discord, the link to do so is in the description below. And as always, thank you so much for watching.